We say that all firms are identical if they face the same underlying production technologies and thus the same underlying cost curves. As we've shown in graph 14.5, this implies a flat long-run supply curve for the market because price will always be driven down to the long-run zero profit price for firms through the process of entry and exit. The same logic of entry and exit will imply a different shape for long-run supply curves in the market when firms have different underlying technologies and therefore different underlying cost curves. Suppose we begin with a short-run market equilibrium in which the market demand curve and the market supply curve intersect at point A, giving us a short-run equilibrium price of P star. If firms have different average cost curves, then the firms that will produce in long-run equilibrium will be those whose average cost curves reach their lowest points at or below P star. Firms that have higher average costs will stay out of the market. If the firms that have average cost curves that reach their lowest point at or below P star are already in the industry, and there are no further such firms outside of the industry, then the short-run market equilibrium illustrated in panel A is in fact a long-run equilibrium, where no firm has an incentive to enter and no firm has an incentive to exit. Starting in such a long-run equilibrium, suppose that demand now increases, pushing short-run price up along the short-run supply curve. This will give an incentive to firms whose average costs were above P star to now enter, and this entry causes the short-run supply curve in the market to shift to the right. This causes price to fall, and firms will continue to enter until there are no further firms whose average costs have their lowest point below the market price determined in panel A. The new long-run equilibrium will then occur at some point like C, where the new long-run equilibrium price lies between P star and P prime. At that new long-run equilibrium price, firms of type 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will have an incentive to be in the market, whereas firm 6 does not. Thus entry continues until there are no further firms that would wish to enter, given the equilibrium price. Points A and C in panel A are therefore the beginning and the ending long-run equilibria given the shift in the demand curve. We can then take those 2 points and isolate them in panel C, connect them, and estimate the shape of our long-run market supply curve. Whether firms are identical as they were in graph 14.5 or different as they are here, the underlying logic of long-run equilibrium is always governed by entry and exit. If all firms are identical, then entry and exit always drive the price down to the lowest point of the long-run average cost curves of all of the firms. When firms are different, then entry and exit will drive the long-run equilibrium price down to the lowest point of the average cost curve of what we call the marginal firm, the highest cost firm that remains in the industry, with all firms outside of the industry having higher costs and all the firms in the industry having the same costs as the marginal firm or lower costs. We therefore get an upward sloping long-run market supply curve when firms are different, because as demand expands, higher and higher cost curves have to be attracted into the industry in order to meet demand.